Welcome to StopFake, the place where we set the record straight on fakes about Ukraine. Disinformation never stops, and neither do we. I'm Yuri Polakiwsky, and this week we look at claims that Crimean Tatars support Putin in Russia's March presidential election, fake stories about Kiev residents wanting a return of Russian social media, and a mysterious train from Ukraine that arrived in Russia carrying a dud World War II-era grenade. So let's get to the details. As the March presidential election grows ever nearer, Moscow's propaganda machine is actively pushing a new theme, that new Russian citizens from Ukraine's recently annexed Crimea Peninsula all wholeheartedly support Russia's current president. Crimean Tatars announced their support for Vladimir Putin, announced TASS. Putin is our president, declared NTV, followed by RIA Novosti and Moskovsky Komsomolets. The source for this story is Seytumer Numentulayev, the head of the Public Council of the Crimean Tatar people, a group that allegedly includes 20 Crimean Tatar organizations. Numentulayev has never been a Crimean Tatar leader. Prior to the annexation of Crimea, he was a member of ousted President Viktor Yanukovych's Party of Regions and headed an administration in the southern Kherson province. He single-handedly controlled much of the businesses in the region, and according to the Ukrainian Center for Journalistic Investigations, he controlled vast land holdings, vacation resorts, and automobile businesses. After the Russian annexation of Crimea, Numentulayev moved to the occupied peninsula and entrusted his Kherson businesses to his wife. In 2014, he established the Public Council of the Crimean Tatar people. This organization is completely subservient to Crimea's occupying authorities. Ukraine later opened 3 criminal cases against Numentulayev and issued a warrant for his arrest. Since then, he has not left Crimea and has been particularly vocal in his declarations of support for Russia and its president. According to the sole genuine representative body of the Crimean Tatars, the Medjulis, Numentulayev and his phony front organization have no influence or support among the Crimean Tatars. The Medjulis is the Tatar national parliament with historic traditions in most Muslim societies. The Crimean Tatar Medjulis was re-established in 1991. The new Russian masters of Crimea declared the organization extremist and banned it in 2016. Rifat Chubarov, the current Medjulis chairman, is banned from entering Crimea. Today, the Medjulis is based in the Ukrainian capital of Kiev and is recognized by Ukraine's parliament as the only legitimate representative organ of the indigenous Crimean people. Russian Defense Ministry television channel Zvezda published a story claiming that the majority of Kiev residents are against banning Russian social media sites and Russian films in Ukraine. Citing a poll carried out for the Obozrevatel internet newspaper, Zvezda claims the majority of Kiev residents want the Russian social media network VK back. The poll, however, was not about Russian social networks or Russian films, but rather about Kiev's residents' attitude to Ukrainian sanctions against Russia. Since the annexation of Crimea by Russia in 2014 and the Russian-sponsored war in eastern Ukraine, there has been relatively broad popular resistance to Russian sites and servers. In May 2016, citing national security interests, President Petro Poroshenko banned Russia's VK and Odnoklasniki social networks, the Mail.ru email service, and search engine company Yandex. Obozrevatel's original story states that a small Kiev majority does not support Ukraine's sanctions against Russia, but there is no mention of support for any particular social media site. This particular poll was conducted by a group called Ukrainian Democratic Circle, who have done previous polls for this company. This group is not certified by the Ukrainian Sociological Association, who did not include it in their 2014 list of trusted sources. Obozrevatel also conducted an online poll of their own about the ban of Russian social media and search engines. The response revealed resounding support for the ban. A recent December 2017 rating of Ukraine's top 25 internet sites did not include any Russian social media sites, mail services, or search engine companies. REN-TV, one of the largest private federal TV channels, announced this week that a train from Ukraine loaded with an explosive arrived in Russia without naming a source. Meanwhile, Russian propagandist Life TV declared that the grenade-carrying train had come from the Moscow-backed self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic. Ukrainians mine a Russian train, declared TV channel Tsargrad, while Novoros.Info accused Ukrainians of sabotage. No sooner had the alarm been raised, Russia's Interior Ministry Transport Division announced that the stories, which by then had been widely disseminated through social media, were in fact untrue. According to this fake narrative, an unnamed train arrived in Belgorod with a World War II-era grenade in one of the carriages. A local Belgorod site reported that city police were disputing claims of the train having explosives on board. One of the cars of a cargo train arriving from Donetsk contained the metal casing of a grenade in its side wall. However, as there was no charge or fuse, the grenade was not dangerous. That's all we have time for this week. There are more dissected fakes on our website, StopFake.com. So please give us a click. And remember, be vigilant, respect your mind, and don't consume fakes. If you spot any disinformation about Ukraine, send it to us for a truth autopsy. I'm Yuri Polakiwsky, and this is Stop Fake. Happy New Year, and thanks for watching.